And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, and loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. There's a PayPal link down in the details section for anybody who wants to share some love. All is appreciated. And of course, the StreamYard link is down there for anybody who wants to join the panel. We're going to do some sharing of some more of these insanity things that we see going on in today's life. And let me get my screen up here. And what we have here is a conspiracy against rights. A video that came out yesterday or the day before from Christopher Real. Just Christopher and then E-A-L. So it's all one word, Christopher Real. Christopher Real. Oops, wrong one. Conspiracy Against Rights, Christopher Real. And I'll drop the link down in the chat section. And let's listen into this. And this is kind of chaotic, so please don't let it raise your blood pressure. It's just something that's out there that we really need to think about when it comes to these people that supposedly have some kind of authority but won't possess it or show it and still assert it and enforce it because they think they're right.
The warrant? I don't consent to this. I'm in my property at home. You can't do this. You're out walking around with the right.
Out walking around with a rifle on your own private property is not against the law. Okay?
You identified, you didn't even ask who I was. We don't.
Okay, they already know who he is. They know who he is. They know he's on his property then. If they know who he is, they know where he lives. And therefore, they know that they don't have any right on his property for this because they have no valid claim of a criminal activity, knowing that he lives there and he has the right to bear arms on his property, let alone out in public. Shall not be infringed. I don't know what they miss about that.
We don't. Where's the warrant? Where's the warrant?
Thrasher.
I'm not being aggressive.
Thrasher.
Why can't you give me some paperwork? Why can't you? No. Listen, I don't consent. I'm not being aggressive. I'm completely passive and peaceful right now. You're not following a law.
See, they're not answering the question is where is the warrant? You have to have a warrant. You're not following the law. Therefore, you, in your activities of not following the law, are giving an unlawful order.
I don't have to follow.
Where's the warrant?
It's not lawful order without a warrant. Where's the warrant?
You cannot take him from his home without a warrant. Where's the warrant?
Greetings, John. How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Keith?
Not much.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you know, our property's got to be in the state for them to even think of coming in.
Right, and that's not. Yeah, and that's a large problem with the titles and the certificates and all that. It placates that it's state property, and there's got to be some kind of inconsistency there. If you think it's your property and the state presumes that it's their property, there's got to be something wrong with the documentation expressing the ownership. And that's what we're looking at here. These people don't know what the hell is going on. They don't know the law. They're acting outside of the law while posing that they are the law, and therefore anything they say goes. And that's not the way it is, folks. This stuff has to have documentation. The documentation has to be accurate, and it has to be able to be relieved of all the presumptions. In other words, it has to be a perfect title. And in an imperfect usufruct, That is impossible. Absolutely correct, John.
You get the dog?
Where's the warrant?
Your dog tries to interfere. We will orders. You're on my property.
You cannot take him without a warrant. You're breaking the law, sir.
You got off his collar.
That's against the law, sir.
You need a collar. Let me put the dog. Let me put the
You are not complying to me. Why should I comply to you?
You are not complying to me. Why should I comply to you? This is an equal consideration, equal benefit situation in all matters. These people are dressed up in police uniforms. That's policy according to the terms and conditions in the contracts. These guys don't understand that. They think that contract gives them all power. It doesn't. You have to follow the contract. It's called performance.
Boy, come here.
Perform. The form has to be there.
I am not complying to you. If you will not comply with my basic rights as a human being, where is his warrant? Where's the warrant for him?
And she's absolutely right. If you're not going to comply with the basic necessities of human rights and humanity, then you are outside of the law. And therefore, she doesn't need to comply. And this is one of those situations, again, don't let it raise your blood pressure. But this is one of those things that it's slowly becoming a civil war. These kind of things will keep happening if we don't stand up and correct this shit ourselves. These people will not correct it. They don't think they need correction. They think they are doing what is right, and that is wrong. We have to quit this.
And Keith, even if we're...
Boy, come down, boy. Hey, come here. Come here. Come get the dog, boy. Because we have state police here now. She's not dressed. You're trespassing. You are trespassing. Where's his warrant? Where's the warrant? Grab your dog. Where is the warrant? I don't consent to it. Where's the warrant? Where's the warrant? Where's this warrant? Where's this warrant? Where is this warrant? You're trespassing.
And I want to remind you right now, they got a female in here, and again, this is one of those things. Women, you do not belong in this situation. These three men here dragging you into this position as beta cucks are wanting you and your masculinity to show up. And this is the downfall of your very position in the family structures. When you go out into the public and you start asserting yourself in these masculine roles, you are no longer a woman.
Get the fuck out.
Absolutely. I'm supposed to protect women and children. These guys are supposed to protect women and children. And instead of doing so, they are dragging them into the very forefront of these civil war situations. And notice that dog is not biting or anything. I give them kudos for not shooting the dog, but at the same time, understand that the dog is not biting. That ain't my dog. That ain't my dog. My dog will eat you.
Yep. There's got to be a threat of life, right? There's got to be an insurrection or threat of life. I don't see that either, Keith.
Yep. And these people are egregious in acting in this capacity, saying that because you're walking around with a rifle on your property, we have a right to come arrest you without a warrant. That's bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. The next one is going to deal with the same kind of situation, John, with the warrant issue. And this is going to put it very clearly. This is an 18-year-old young man at the front door with an officer running his mouth like a child. And watch what happens. This young man acts more responsible, more mature, more logical than the officer. So I'm going to point out a couple things as we go through this one too.
This young man was simply standing up for his rights when a cop showed up unannounced, trying to bully his way onto private property without a warrant. The officer had no legal grounds to be there and repeatedly trespassed, pushing the young man to comply.
If you do not have a warrant, you need to leave the property. Do you have a warrant?
Though it said pushing the young man to comply, he never did comply, but that was his attempt. He was trying to push him to comply, but the young man never complied.
Then you need to leave the property. You are going to come back here with a warrant. Sir, you are trespassing.
You don't want me to come back here with a warrant. Yes, I motherfucking do. Listen to the next statements. I want you to come back with a warrant. Because if you don't come back, if you don't have any reason to be here, then you won't come back with a warrant. If you have a reason to come back here with a warrant, you will do so.
Badges do not grant extra rights. They don't.
All you're going to do is just make it harder.
What you're going to do is just make it harder. No, you're making it harder for you're trying to make it hard for these people and not doing your job. That's making it easy for you. So in making it harder for you, yes, we are making it harder for you. We are not going to let you continuously take these easy paths of idiocy and overtaking our neighbors. We're going to start stepping up and start helping each other with this shit. You do not have a warrant. Get the fuck out. You're not going to do this the easy way upon the cognitive dissonance of the people. You have to have a warrant. You will do your job. We're not going to let you. It's not hard either. It just makes it harder because now you have to go do some paperwork. If that's what you call hard, then suck it up, big boy. There's a lot harder things in this life than doing paperwork. Maybe you should go out and get a construction job. Maybe a cook job where you work 50 hours a week over a hot grill. You beta cuck pussies.
Trespassing right now. You're breaking the law.
Investigate an incident that has been reported.
Do you have a warrant stating that you are under an investigation?
Is your father here?
Do you have a warrant?
We're not going to stand here and act like children.
That's right. So when he told you, you have to come back with a warrant, then you act like a grown adult. You go do the work, the paperwork, all that hard work in getting the warrant, and you come back with the warrant. That is the proper process of law. That is the adult process of law. The child process of law is going to your neighbor and crying to him. Wah, 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 acting like children. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a wedding signature. Or if they're going to do an eviction, it's got to have a removal order.
Yep. They've got to have the proper documentation so that the record it can reflect accurately. When these guys go up in here with their prepositions of who's done what, like we saw in the previous video, as if though they have a right to enforce it without documentation, then you have to go to the documentation that they have a job under. And in that documentation, like I said, the performance, they have a performance bond. And that payment bond is paid out upon performance. So each one of these incidents goes down as a contract of performance. So if the paperwork in that isn't correct, then the paperwork in their contract shows that they violated not just the process of the paperwork for their job, but the process that's laid out in their performance contract.
We've already established that there is no warrant, and that
We've already established that there is no warrant, okay?
there's no cause for a warrant.
And there's no cause for a warrant. Then get the fuck off my property. You're sitting here crying like a full-grown man for another man that should be here crying and doesn't have any reason to cry.
We've established that. Let's move on.
There's no cause for you being here then.
That's absolutely right. If there's no warrant, then there's no cause for a warrant, and there's no cause for you to be here. You're harassing. You are not supposed to be there unless you are investigating, and you're not going to investigate with the son. He just told you, father's not home, leave.
No? If you're going to stand there and talk to me, at least speak up.
Do I legally have to answer that?
Take it however you want.
I take that as a no. I do not legally have to answer that.
18-year-old kid's going to talk for a grown man.
What I'm doing is using my rights.
Absolutely. See, and this is what I get. You know, this is one of those things, John. I really do give kudos to the young people out in our communities that are doing this, that are taking it upon themselves to learn this stuff so they can assert their rights at 18 years of age. Because isn't that the age of majority when you're supposed to be able to assert your rights? Isn't that when they say you're able to act as an adult? And therefore, when you're as an adult, acting as an adult against somebody that's at least, that officer had to be at least twice that young man's age. So he had twice the seniority, and he was acting the immature position, asserting that he had authority when he doesn't, and he knows it. There is no way these officers cannot know that they do not have authority. Like that man said, there's no warrant, there's no cause for warrant. Then what are you doing here?
The fuck? Yeah, and we're the source of credit, assholes.
Absolutely. These people have to understand that, and this is why I give the young man kudos here. 18-year-old man is to the credit of that 36-year-old officer. They get butthurt in that. It's like the dad saying that he has to take credit from his son. It seems backwards, but in this legal society, it is not. And this is why I said, if you have a republic, and you can, if you keep it. The thing is, most people don't understand a republic is a body of people that know the law. And that's what we need to get back to. So let's check out the next one. This is a guy that's dismissed for refusal to ID.
Simply walking down the road, minding his own business. Then suddenly a cop showed up and blatantly violated his rights by demanding his ID without any legal justification. The man knew his rights and refused, but then the cop did something unexpected.
And you are right here where you can see it. Right here? I mean, where you can see what you recorded. Okay. Can I see your ID?
Yes, sir. Can I grab it?
Yeah.
Can I ask why you're stopping me?
Well, you're walking down the road. I was just checking on you.
I can't give you my ID if I didn't commit a crime.
I just seen who you are. Okay?
But I didn't commit a crime, did I?
I mean, we can still ask somebody for that.
Just seeing who you are. Now, when we get to the end of this video, you'll see what happens. And this guy is in his 60s. And this is just total stupidity. These people are not doing a job. They are searching and wanting to know you so they can drag you into their bullshit.
But I'm not legally required to give it to you.
Do you want me to give me your ID or not?
I want you to tell me what I did wrong.
You didn't do nothing wrong other than I see you walking and I'm checking on you.
You're not checking on me. You're harassing me.
Hold on.
Sure.
Okay, you're not checking on me. You're harassing me. And that's absolutely true. If you don't have a crime, a reasonable articulable suspicion, you shouldn't be approaching anybody. Nobody. And yet here he is because he's got nothing better to do. So what are they really enforcing? Are they really enforcing criminal law? No. Now watch what he does. Remember when this young man wanted to know who the officer was, he was trying to point him out. He needed to get his badge and stuff in his video, right? He didn't want to tell him what his name and badge number was. He wanted to show him in his video. So look what he does here. He's going to get his camera out. He grabbed his phone.
If I committed a crime, I'd have no.
And now he's taking a picture of the man. I'm gonna Freedom of Information Act request that because of the statement he makes afterwards.
Problem giving you my ID.
Okay. All right.
But I did nothing wrong.
Okay. I'll figure out who you are. That's good.
I'll figure out who you are. Ain't none of your goddamn business. Who the fuck do you people think you are going around trying to ID people so you can know who they are and pose some kind of pre-crime shit? See, that's what it is, folks. It's that pre-crime shit. And you ought to be getting disgusted and tired of it. This is total incompetence. Oh, I'll figure out who you are. That's not the purpose of the law. The purpose of the law is not to identify. The purpose of the law is to investigate criminal activities and attach the suspect to that crime. And when you go around asking everybody for ID, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're posing that they've committed some kind of crime. That's why they say you can't get their ID unless you have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime, past, present, or future intent. This is just despicable. Now here we got an alpha male. I'd be motherfucking going off too, you fucking insane bitch. Get the premise of this story, folks. This is a guy that makes $400,000. I don't know why it didn't switch. We'll start that over for everybody. But man, if I'm making $400,000 and you're living in a nice home with me, and you get all the goods and goodies that go with it, and that isn't good enough for you, so you ruin my income source, that's your jealousy. When you ruin a man's entire income source because you don't think he's paying enough time and attention to you, while everything you have in your life, that nice car, that nice house, and everything you eat, he buys and pays for. You are the insane bitch. And this is the problem, why people think I'm a misogynist. I am not a misogynist. I am a realist. And people, ladies and gentlemen, everybody needs to get real. This guy having a woman that ruined his $400,000 gaming account, which was his income, a large portion of his income, he picked the wrong woman. He made good choices in the sports arena, but he made a bad choice in his women. This is where we need to start. If you want a good income and you got that good income and you insert somebody else in your life and they ruin that income, that's on you. So it's on this guy. But at the same time, the psychotic bitch that he picked, I don't understand how you get with women like that.
What the? His girlfriend deleted his NBA 2K account valued at $400,000, and this almost made him do something stupid with his own life. He saw his ex-girlfriend Jasmine decide to delete his NBA 2K account, an account that had a considerable value, around $400,000 for him. These games were not just a form of entertainment, but a significant part of his life and source of income. It was through them that he was able to support his lifestyle, including his house and cars. Each achievement in the game represented hours of effort and dedication. Jasmine simply couldn't stand the situation any longer. She argued that he spent too much time playing games, neglecting their relationship. While she acknowledges that she sometimes overreacted in this regard, he never imagined it could lead to such devastating action when he returned home and realized that everything had been erased. It was as if his world collapsed.
So again, while the woman felt that the relationship was being neglected, so instead of saying, well, I'm just going to neglect the relationship entirely and develop a new relationship, and being a mature adult saying, well, evidently he's not for me. I'm not going to get the time and attention I need from him, so I need to go somewhere else. She didn't want to do that. She had already been invested and had recouped or enjoyed the investment so much that she thought she deserved it. This is bullshit, people.
See, and if you're a misandrist, no problem. But if you're a misogynist, you get burned at the stake.
Yep. Women are completely and totally allowed in this modern time, in the daily workplace, where they've inserted themselves along with these beta cuck corporate males who want to be cucked. I'm not one of them. You ain't gonna cuck me. You want to bring your masculine bullshit to me with your feminine body and pose that you have some kind of authority over me like some other man would? I'm going to show you my alpha male. I will put you down. I am not a misogynist. I'm a realist. And you better get real, women. You ain't got no authority over each other, let alone another man, just like another man has no authority over another man. You have no more power. You are no greater than the other. So let's get on to the next one. For a lack of manners and respect that can cost a life.
I said, listen, brother, you gotta get on the top bunk. So he was like, listen, young brother, I can't get on the top bunk. He said, no, I'm an older guy, man. You know, you should take the top bunk because you're younger, you can get up and down easier. Right. So me thinking I'm this masculine, super macho man, I'm like, yo, I'm not getting on nobody's top bunk. So we talked back and forth for about 20 minutes. By the 21st minute, he convinced me to take the top bunk. That night, I stayed in the cell with him and we just talked all night. Like I'm talking about all night. I never really met a man that mature. The next morning, he was like, yo, come with me to breakfast. I walked with him to breakfast. Sitting in the mess hall in prison, I'm like, a lot of people keep looking at us, man, but I'm not noticing anything. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, is he gay? After breakfast, he was like, yo, what are you about to do? I'm about to go back to the cell. He was like, nah, come with me to the yard. I go with him to the yard. As soon as we go to the yard, he clapped his hands. He was like this. About 30 Muslims lined up. And he said, I'm Mujahid. He said, if I would have got on that top bunk, I would have killed you this morning. Wow. You know, he was the imam, meaning the high priest of the whole prison. But his humility showed me my arrogance almost got me killed. I said,
and see, this is the aspect I talk about, not quite so much as I should, I suppose, but when you're meeting up with people and you don't know who they are, you have to give them respect. You have to give them respect. You don't know if that man is an angel or a devil. While we go around in our lives, like I spoke on that last video, that we all have this equal power in life. Treating each other with that same common decency and respect is what we need. We need the foresight to think, wait a minute, despite my position in life, what position in life does this man hold? How do we interact with those different positions, those different levels in life? See, this young man is a young man. He hasn't reached a certain level in life. Whereas the old man he was trying to tell had to get on the top bunk, he's reached a different level that this young man was not even aware of. And this is what we come into with these government officials. They're at a certain level, and we have to recognize that level. So when we go out and we interact with these officers, we have to have a ability to read personalities. And when we run across an officer that has a good personality, give them respect, not for the personality, but for the possibilities of those personalities. He may be faking. And though he may be a nice guy, he may be the one that steps up while all the other ones you see as ignorant cops. He may be the one that steps up and slaps them cuffs on you. See, they're all in amongst the same ranks. They do the same things. We have to learn how to carry ourselves with the Most High at all times. So let's go on to the next one. Let me know what you think of this one.
Yeah, I think this says everything you need to know. There's no good reason to vote for Kamala.
What is Harris's biggest accomplishment to date as vice president?
And I only threw this one in here. I'm not political, but I only threw this one in here because it's like I said, we're on this insane thing about misogyny, misandry, and this insane idea that somebody else has an authority over either one, a man or a woman.
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore.
She was a very good vice president.
That's an interesting question. Getting to vice president.
I have to do more research on her, honestly. I'm just glad to see a woman of color in charge for once. That's it.
I'm just glad to see a woman of color in charge for once. That's it. See, that's a popularity vote. That's identity politics. It has nothing to do with the documentations, the law is written, and what they know about the law. This is a bad pick, folks.
I haven't followed her political career that closely.
That's a good one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, because nobody knows. To this date, nobody knows what Kamala Harris actually did that was any good for the people. None whatsoever. The things they do have to say about her is lengthening parolees' time in prison by negating their paroles, so that they would the state would receive more money by not releasing them, and things like that.
Yeah, well, I can lengthen my dick too.
Okay, here we got Senator Tom Cotton. Senator Tom Cotton.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
And President Trump is going to draw a sharp contrast with Kamala Harris, who has supported things like decriminalizing illegal immigration, or giving taxpayer-funded health insurance to illegal aliens, or taking away health insurance on the job for 170 million Americans, banning gas cars.
I mean, that is not her position now. She knows.
How do you know that's not her position? How do you know that's not her position?
I mean, she says she no longer supports
Medicare
for all.
She has not said that. Maybe anonymous aides on a Friday night have said that. You would have thought, watching the Democratic convention last week, that the Democrats are not in office, that they're not in power, that they're campaigning against an incumbent Republican.
These people don't know what they're doing. They're not qualified. It's all DEI hiring stuff. These people have no right to be in office. They're corrupt. They're ignorant. They have no policy positions, and they don't give a F about you. And what they do is they say, "Come here, Negro, vote for me this time around. All right, get out the way. We done with y'all."
Absolutely. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, popularity politics, identification. I don't care if you identify as a transgender, a homophobic, a gay, lesbian, whatever. I ain't voting for you. I ain't never voted for you. Why? Because it's always been identity politics, in case you didn't catch on. It's called popular vote for a reason. It's not called legal vote or lawful vote. It's called a popularity vote. Okay, the next one.
Look, they're carrying a dead body out.
Tony Mitchell died after being held for 2 weeks at the jail, and prosecutors argue the lack of care while being held in what's called the drunk tank factored into his death. Kelly worked 8 night shifts during Mitchell's time in the cell. She claims to be the one who leaked the video we have, there you see it, showing deputies carrying Mitchell's motionless body on the day he died. This agreed to plead guilty for her role in the case. Joshua Connor Jones has also signed a plea deal in connection with Mitchell's death. His lawyer predicted at least half a dozen more arrests in the case.
If they were carrying dead bodies out of your house and we collectively made sure this person didn't get the water or food that they need to live, then you and I would be put in prison for decades, maybe for life. But these people get to make a plea deal because they work for the government. Look,
they carried him out dead because they refused him food and water for days. This man was refused food and water for days. Refusing to ID and carry on with their program. So they refused him food and water in their care. A necessity of life that this is a war crime. This is a war crime. It is a military institution using a program of economic warfare against the domestic people of the lands by locking them up and taking their lives. The voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential. Nuremberg trial, first of the 10 points handed down during the conviction. This should never happen. in a country that poses nationality to be the greatest on earth. And yet this is a communistic, terroristic act on domestic soil. It's egregious. These people do not belong in these outfits, posing that they are here for your safety and protection. The next one I got is kind of a little off the scale of what we're talking about here is sanity, the insanity between each people, but rather this goes to the inherent process of that very necessity of life of providing food and water. And while we have these great nations on this planet, this is what they do with their prosperity and abundance. This is a tomato. These are bins of tomatoes, and instead of using them for a good purpose, everybody gets up in their swimsuits and goes out in Publix and starts having a tomato fight. Let that sit in your mind. Let this sit in your mind as you think about all the people around the world that are starving, while these countries with prosperity and abundance that are posing that they're helping these starving nations. Are they really helping the starving nations? If they were helping the starving nations, then you would think that the help has already been had and that there are no more starving nations. And that's why we would have events like this, because we've got such an abundance. But this is not abundance, folks. This is fraud, waste, and abuse. Come on, Joe Cool. Come on. Come on. The fuck? What do you mean? There's a link. Come on up. Tell me what you're talking about, because I think you're off, buddy. I love you, but I think you're off here. I think you've gone insane somewhere. We've got people starving on this planet. And a tomato fight is better than feeding people. Because this is just ridiculous. Imagine the people in one of those starving nations watching this video. Do you suppose, Joe Cool, that the people in that nation of starving people that might be watching this video might be screaming as loud in pain and suffering as these people are screaming in their celebration of being able to throw tomatoes at each other? Explain yourself.
I will. You know I will. I'm being practical here. Those people in that starving nation, no way they get up to jet fuel to take over the few thousand tomatoes that they use during that event, which, you know, that's not a big deal. All the fucking tomatoes, you lose thousands upon thousands every fucking crop. But it ain't like they could really fly them nowhere to anyone who was starving. But with that small amount, respectfully, you can bring unity to your community, like a festival, like spending money on a festival to bring something to your community. If someone says that money's better spent feeding a starving child, I don't know. So much is gained from that floats and how it brings the people out and brings the people together. That was my argument.
Okay, well, I can see bringing the people together, but can't we use the tomatoes in a better way to bring those people together? Say we bring those people together with the tomatoes, And instead of trashing them, each one of those people brings a package that they can put, say, a dozen tomatoes in and send it to somebody that they do know. There, the cost expense is.
I don't think they're gonna let you send food across. They don't let, you know, tomatoes and
Oh,
shit
sure
in
they do.
unless.
Oh, sure they do.
I thought
You
they
just,
got to go through certain inspections and all that bullshit. You
right?
couldn't do it.
Oh, I most certainly could.
Yeah.
Yep, you have to go through customs and make your declaration. That's all you got to do.
I
You make your
thought you couldn't
declaration.
take fruit and vegetables and shit through customs.
You can make your declarations, have them inspected, make sure there's no fruit flies and stuff, and send them. It is a process. It is possible. Not quite as feasible as, you know, a grocer sending them, because they have preemptive
Yeah.
customs things. So on the individual basis, I can see the regulatory issues, but they can be circumvented or
Yes.
surmounted.
And
But it's
now
a
they
matter of
don't
knowledge.
get that festival because now it's become so expensive that they can't even have the damn festival where people bring them together. Not only that, people like us, we watch them across the world, and we see, you know, we see the brotherhood and them out there having fun. Right? Is that what you say about the in Brazil? When you see the big ass floats for whatever, I'm high. I can't think of the day. Mardi Gras, or is it? No, they don't call it Mardi Gras, do they? Got a different name.
Yeah, it's
Carnival or something. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, you know, them floats are incredible. What it do to people. I saw one. I've been Googling, they can't find it again. Saw it in the short, in the clip somewhere. They've gotten so sophisticated, man. Now Brazil is seen worldwide, and someone could present an argument. You could have spent that money and you know, and fed a homeless person, a starving person, or something.
Right. And I think, and I agree with your celebratory aspect. You know, people should celebrate, and it does bring communities together. But in bringing those communities together, are they separating themselves from the rest of the world to bring that local community together? Or are they actually bringing that local community together so they can expand upon the world?
And
Two
in
different
this
aspects
case,
of it.
that's become so famous that they've put themselves on the world stage, which is a good thing.
Right. And that I can see is a good thing. But again, when it comes to the actual aspect of the tomatoes, isn't there something better we could do with the tomatoes that would go more along with their actual natural use?
I would agree with that, and I would look into it. I wonder if they haven't thought of that and provided some type of offset, like some type of donating. Because I'm imagining most of these come from fields. They're not paying for these tomatoes. Most of them come from fields that they
Right.
have where, you
So
know.
if they paid for the tomatoes, but made the money that they paid for the tomatoes a donation towards a starving country to implement even landscaping techniques that would hold back water and create
Yes.
watersheds, that would be great.
I wonder if they're into that, right? You know, I'd like to investigate this shit. I might Google it. I've been so busy lately. I might Google it later, though. What else you got, though, man? Let's see what else you got, man.
When I got tyrant cop violates man's rights.
You know I'm down with that one, right?
Yep. So let's get into that, and I'll be right back.
This man was filming in a public building, gathering content for a story as an independent journalist. Then this cop showed up and demanded his ID without any legal justification. Despite recording in public being perfectly legal, the officer escalated the situation by threatening arrest and putting the journalist in fear for their safety.
You were asked to leave the premises, were you not?
Okay, and I can refuse.
This is a public place.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly, Joe. It's a public place. You can't trespass somebody from a public place unless they are loitering. But if they're walking along and minding their own business, you ain't even supposed to stop.
Says a lot about this, guys, and all police training. You know.
Yep. Yeah, these guys, they think they have an inherent power that goes beyond what's written down.
It's all about that, right? It's all about the power position. The law is secondary, tertiary. I think it behooves them not to teach these guys the law, not to have you out there flexing your rights and protesting and shit. It behooves them to say that you're the bad guy, because you're the first sign of discontent. which could lead to rebellion or something. So they got to crush you through the gate. These are the people they would hire to do it. It's not logical that they would teach you, yes, go out there and protest. It's not logical.
Yep.
And they don't do it because, you see how these fools are. Like right here, they are the power. You yield to us. You keep them down. Don't let them talk to you a certain way. Take control of the scene. If she won't sign that ticket, snatch her out the car. They teach these guys horrible shit, bro.
Oh yeah, in those training places, they actually teach them to violate your rights. The training itself is a training to violate your rights.
I would agree, right? I would agree. Like, let's say, for instance, use of force. No way, no one else could do that. Like, I was watching this guy making a video. Officer Borsati is his name. There was a chick trespassing. She was obviously drunk. He pulled off the property, and he's like, go home and all that shit. She like, fuck that, I ain't going nowhere, blah, blah, blah. And after a while, he like, listen, man, I'm trying to cut you a break. All right. You may be a danger. Suddenly, what up, Base? He decides to lock her up, so his mind changes. She may be a danger out here, so we're gonna lock her up. It's 2 cops, and she's a chick, regular sized chick, like a little party girl. It was at a gentleman's club. One guy, the white guy, grabs her arm, puts it behind her back. The guy Borsati grabs her arm when she snatches back from him. He knocks her down, slams her head on the ground, throwing blows and shit. It was really disgusting. Then they get to the Sally port to lock her up. And she walks past the line. There's no line. The line's way over there by the police car, but where the police are. So she didn't pass that line. There is a real line, but she walks past the line where the prisoners are lined up against the wall and come over to ask him something. He tell her, get back. She stays there talking. He shoves her, slams her to a wall, and starts to tee off on her. She's cuffed at this point. Breaks her, bend her down. She drops to the so-and-so. Now, I said a lot to say this because I've broken down all the interrogation vids, internal affairs vids, Department of something vids. They got 2 departments, the Florida Department of something that interview the cops. And the first one where she was in the lot and he slammed her head on the ground and all of that, all caught on camera, by the way. They was going to let that slide. The issue, the one they could not let slide, was the one where she was cuffed and he started body blowing her until she drops to the ground. And this is interesting too. I'm sorry to go on so long, but there were many witnesses. They bringing niggas in. It's a Sally port. Motherfuckers cuffed. The guards and shit, they're flabbergasted. One guy go over there, tell him, look, man, it's cameras. Don't risk your job. But then on paper, when it get down to it, all of them say, I didn't see a thing. One guy stands firm. He's just a little lowly dude. He like, no, I saw it all. They paid, I think it was, I don't want to be wrong, 34, 36,000 to bring in professionals in to redo it in the computer, bring in dummies in 3-dimensional and say, nah, the kid didn't see anything. It was impossible. They spent all that money in order to help him get away with beating up this chick. Is where I was going with that shit.
Yeah, they will do everything that they can. They will pull every trick out of the drawer. How you doing, Based?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
All right, I pretty much just got hit, Based.
Cool.
We're just going over some of this insanity of people thinking they have authority and stuff, and whether it be a woman over a man or a man over a woman or a police over the people or anything.
Hey, that's dope since Based is over here. And I assume he thinks, I think I got authority over a woman. Yeah, I do. I believe in that nonsense.
You think that I think?
Yes, I think that you think. I think that in your household, the man must rule, period. That's what I believe anyway.
Well...
It's setting.
You do.
I kind of have to go with that. I'm not going to say Base. I'm not going to say anything for Base, but I got to go with set thine house in order. If there's a power greater than me, and I'm the one that plants the seed in the woman, and then she has to bring it out into the world over a 9-month period, I have to stay around to protect that woman to make sure my investment is good.
Right.
Therefore, my protection of the woman is an order over the woman.
Yes.
Not as a matter of a power of authority, but as a matter of an order of protection.
And I would say go so far as to say authority. I tell my chick that there's 101% in this shit. It's 50-50, but the 1% is mine. And I'll put it on the shelf and I'll try not to use it, never touch it. When I don't touch it, I'm doing good. But understand, when the time comes, you know, I take that one off the shelf and the final decision has to be mine. I try to leave it up there. She's cool with that.
Well, so here's how I would look at it. Not going against, I don't think, anything that you said, but I also wouldn't choose to use that word authority. I would probably think leadership would be the best word.
That is.
And with that higher level of leadership comes more, you could say power, although power can mean many things. With that comes more responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's not just this good thing. I mean, it is good, right? We're men, and embracing what is, I think, is good. But it's not just plain good. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. There's gray area. And at the end of the day, it is a responsibility. So I think when men hand that responsibility off to women, in a sense, that bus rides off the fucking cliff.
Yeah, and this is where I say, you know, if I'm going to plant my seed in a woman, and that woman's going to bear that child over 9 months, and I got to protect that woman over that 9 months in order to see that child come to fruit. Now I'm looking at the next 18 years, right? So
I got to put my imprint on that kid too. Yeah.
Right. So while I'm away, and the woman has the quote authority over the child.
Yes.
My instruction to her is you don't take that child anywhere I wouldn't. In other words, you don't leave that child in the hands of another man that will molest that child, because now I have to get rid of you or fix you because you didn't listen to me the first time.
All right.
And I have to fix that motherfucker that put his hands on my child.
Let's assume something that horrible hasn't happened. The first thing you said was you don't take my kid where I wouldn't you say wouldn't want you to, or where I wouldn't take him?
Yeah, where I would not take him myself.
Yeah, but what if that's something like, you know, I don't know your preferences, but you might not want that child to see a certain movie that she's okay with it, a theme park or whatever, Care Bears. You think that shit's soft, and you wouldn't and wouldn't take them there, and you wouldn't want her to take them there, but she does. I don't have a problem with that. She's gonna have to do the female side to raising my kid. He needs both. He needs a balance.
You're right, but hold up. I think there is a problem with that. The problem isn't necessarily the movie. Let's say, for your example, Joe, I was wrong. It is a good, beneficial movie, and I happen to be wrong about it. If she knows, here's where I'm going. If she knows that I wouldn't do it, and she does it anyways, I think that's a bigger, deeper rooted problem.
Well, that's a bit of a lie. Yes. She'd have to tell you, fuck what you talking about, Joe. In your case, fuck what you're talking about, Base. I'm going to take her to see this movie. She'd have to tell you that first. Yeah. And I'd bend to my chick. You know, if she thinks it's there in my head, I'm not really bending. I'm giving her a little leeway here. If I really thought it was bad, I'd stand strong. But yes, I need her input. I understand that women do the emotional shit that I'm so bad at. They need both sides, man.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, balance with everything, right? Balance is ideal in many cases.
Yin and yang. It's ridiculous, man. Anything else is absurd.
Yeah, and when you've got two parents working together in that kind of balance, that's going to help bring that child up in a better balance too. And that's what we're looking for.
Yes. Yes. Did you finish that, Vid?
Not yet. Gingy Voodoo Doll, could you show me your video, please? Just double checking because of the name. Gingy Voodoo Doll.
Is this a moose?
I don't know. This is funny.
I think it's moose.
Is it? All right. Well, I'm gonna take a chance. Sanity Machine.
Oh, what's never mind. It's Steven.
Hello. Hello, Wizard. Oh, that laugh. Hello, Wizard. Hello. What's going on?
Oh, we're just going through some reviews. You're not gonna throw any kinks in the chaos around me, right?
No, I'm not here for chaos. I'm here for peace. I'm here.
That's not a lie.
Over my chair in the sun.
No kinks in the chaos. Is this a kinky channel?
Steven, what do you want?
What do I want? Oh, I want peace, brother. I want peace.
Then why do you do the opposite in your actions?
I'm here for peace. I'm not doing the opposite.
No, I'm just asking why your actions and words don't align.
My actions are my actions. I'm here for peace. I'm extending an olive branch.
So you're going to keep
Wizard.
side skirting.
I'm here to extend an olive branch to Wizard.
All right, then we're going to get into the videos, and you're just going to hang out and do the platform the way it's meant to. I accept your olive branch.
I'm going to join in and follow the wind.
Maybe you should start it from the beginning so both of them can see it. I don't know if they saw the whole thing. It's only a short anyway, guys.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing is short. So yeah,
This man was filming in a public building, gathering content for a story as an independent journalist. Then this cop showed up and demanded his ID without any legal justification. Despite recording in public being perfectly legal, the officer escalated the situation by threatening arrest and putting the journalist in fear for their safety.
You were asked to leave the premises, were you not?
Okay, and I can refuse.
This is a public place.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that's why he can refuse, because you don't have any right to tell people they have to leave just because you don't want them there. It's public. You have a public accommodation policy. In that, it's unless they commit a crime, cause a disturbance, you have no reason to ask them to leave.
Do you guys agree with that? Do you know that and agree with that legal insight right there?
Is it legally true?
I'm asking.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, that's debatable. And the reason is because the laws are merely interpreted, right? So one judge may say yes, one may say no, may need to go to Supreme Court. There's a lot of maybes.
Stephen, you agree that generally speaking, public place, he's allowed to be there and film there?
Yes. Public place. You should be allowed to be there, film, whatever.
So the next question I want to ask, is that cop aware of that? I mean, this is basic shit.
Probably
not. Is that
not.
cop aware of
Most
that?
cops
Probably
aren't.
not.
Probably not.
I'm starting to think they're insidious, man. I'm starting to think they do know.
Yeah, I think they probably do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do as well. And it's just that, you know, they've been in these positions of power, and the people that have been or have been seen in positions of power for years and doing the exact same thing, getting away with it day after day after day. And again, that's because the people aren't filled with that knowledge to rebut it.
And on purpose. That's part of the plan.
Right.
That's part of the plan, too.
This man was filming in a public building.
Exactly.
That's right. But they're asking you to leave.
You can't do that from a public place.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot.
I'm asking you for your ID.
I don't have ID.
You don't have ID?
No, sir. Excuse me. Whoa.
Oh, that's what it was. He wanted that ID. That's how they get their money.
Time.
By the way.
Every time. The
more people you can run through the computer, the more people you can put in the systems. It's a number game.
Where did the cop grab him at? What was the whoa
I
part?
thought he grabbed his arm, reached for his arm that was hanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he doesn't have ID. So when you don't have ID, they're going to arrest you. Okay, there's a problem with that. You can't make me carry an ID. I don't have ID. You will never find ID on me. You will never find my name tattooed, nor will you find a number tattooed on me. I am not the ID, and the ID you are looking for does not identify me. It identifies a record that you want access to perform your commercial transactions. I ain't got it. I ain't never going to have it again. You want it, you have to go to Social Security Administration.
Wait, Wizard. You're straying a little bit. Actually, you're on topic, but you skipped a step because the law doesn't require physical ID, which would get you out of all of this trouble. It has a cutout where you would still have to give your name, birth date, first, last, middle name, and birth date. In some states, there's one more.
So they're requiring me to give them hearsay.
What do you mean hearsay? Okay.
I didn't create that name. That name was given to me by my mom and dad, and it's in paperwork. It's only hearsay. No one can get on the stand and testify that
if
my
it was
name
given to you.
Hold on.
Then it's
yours. Hold on. No, it was not given to me.
You said it was given to you by your
It
mom.
was
It's
a given
yours.
name. It was a given name by mom and dad. The given name was written down in documentation.
Who they give it to?
The state.
You
That's
say they
true.
gave it to you.
No,
You
that's
say
true.
mom and dad gave me that name.
No. My mom and dad gave a name. It's a given name.
Yes,
That's
it's
true.
yours. They gave it to you specifically.
Right. And what is the name that they gave me?
I don't know, Keith or something. It don't matter.
No, it is Keith. It is Keith alone.
Okay. All right.
That's the given name.
All right. That's dope. The last part was already, if that's your argument, the last part was already chosen.
Yeah, maybe to get a little bit more meta here. I mean, think about the actual issue with trying to pursue over the police doing this, right? Over them arresting this man now.
Okay.
Is it seems to me that most people are so complacent they go along with the idea of, well, you should always do whatever a police officer does. Well, you should always answer them, this type of mentality.
Yes.
Whereas people in the know, right, don't talk to the police. Just period. There's never a fucking reason. They're not going to come save you. They're not going to, save your kid from a fire. It's not happening. They're not stopping a bullet. In fact, the federal, I mean, you would probably know more than me, Keith, but I believe the federal courts ruled that the police have no duty to protect citizens.
Correct. Yeah. Gonzalez versus somebody. Rodriguez. Gonzalez versus. Damn it! I got this wrong on video before.
Here's the thing.
I know it.
Like in general, don't ask women about this, right? They would want to, in a sense, they would want to. But think about as far as men go, weak men, the type of men to be like, oh, he should have just gave him his ID. He was being combative, this type of thing. He is the one, the average, that has traded off freedom for the idea of security, right? Like, oh, this is their job. They have to do this. They're protecting us. And meanwhile, they're not protecting us really whatsoever.
Right.
It's a ruse.
And when it comes to that name, when they ask me for ID, I don't have an ID. And then they go to, well, what's your name? Like Joe was saying, well, what's your name? Well, I don't have a name either. And the guy said, this is how they responded to me the last time. Well, everybody's got a name.
You've done this before.
I said, no, persons have names. Real men, we have callings. Now, I've been called Keith all my life. And when mom and dad get mad at me, they might have called me Keith Orland. Now, I hail from the family Little. And I hear I was born around August 20th, 1966. Now, if the guy that's on the other side listening to me writes it down as a first and last name with a birth date, I never gave him that information. He is lying, and I can prove it on the stand.
All right, I hear you. You're absolutely right, because if you were in a fucking room and they read you your rights and you tell, I heard, and someone told me you're doing that, yeah, they can't get you on shit.
Now, if I can just go back for a moment here, Keith, think about, we've talked about plenty of the voting process, society, what's going on with it. Now, related to this, go back to the distinction of men and women, right? In terms of, wouldn't want women to necessarily act like men in this position, right? At least not as a standard, right? That might be an exceptional woman. In that way, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying the, not the norm.
Are you talking about position of power as a cop or power period, like judges?
Well, it could be either, but we're specifically talking about the police interaction here, for example.
Okay.
And my point is, look at the voting structure, right? As far as we know, as it goes, there's more women than men in the U.S., and I don't know about this, but probably as many or more women voters. So, given
more women voters, and I think men have taken a slight edge in percentage.
Okay.
More women are always more voters.
Given these distinctions, one might think that a woman, especially given that most women are not led by individual men, they're led by a multitude of men societally in terms of their income or whatever it is, right? So they don't answer to a man. They're not led by a man. They're led by a conglomeration of men who we can wholly call weak. Right? They suck. So with that said, what is the vote going to look like? It's going to be mostly women voting, right? And then when it comes to men, it'll be mostly right, the weak men voting that in as well. Right,
would
in
have to
terms
be.
of how
It
our
would be
society
those
interacts.
weak men who she follows, so it's mostly them that would be voting as well. I agree with all of that.
So I'm just kind of getting to a topic that nobody likes, which is voting in a sense. In terms of it's come up plenty on panels about, oh, are you saying that women shouldn't vote? Look, we're here right now. I don't think most people should vote, but I'm just saying there's an issue for men attempting to lead when most women are not led by a man and they're doing their own thing, and then most men are weak that are going to do similar things to women. So I'm saying most people are fucked. So the idea that our voting system is based on most people, even given electoral college and whatnot, how could we have anything less than bullshit?
Right. Yeah, think about this. We have a population in the United States of almost 400 million people. And yet the last vote, they had 82 and 81 million people. That's 163 million. That's less than half the population. That is not a democracy, folks.
Base to base point. He had a couple of them now. The should women vote shit. I forgot the second one already. The should women vote shit. There is obviously an argument there. Yes, the way the leadership of all the multitude of people that do, and I think you even said this. That same problem though is for men as well. Most men do not control their own shit. They follow a bunch of different knucklehead. I think you call them weak motherfuckers too. If the women shouldn't vote, men shouldn't vote. We fall victim to the same.
Right.
Trick.
We fell victim to the first part, men feeling weaker to other men. In
Right.
the civil rights movement for colored people fighting for their civil rights, they felt there was some kind of weakness system there. And that was because the weakness of the white man. Okay?
What?
Let's understand that
That's the first
Okay?
thing you said, nigga. You was talking about you here, good faith. That's the
What are you
first
talking
shit you
about, Joe?
comment on.
Do you think that El
It was
Perro?
the
Do you think colored people should vote?
It was the weakness of the white man to think that he had power over the colored man to put him in slavery to begin with.
I understand what you were saying when you first said it, yeah.
That then the black man felt they had been weakened and needed to assert their civil rights through a civil rights movement. In that, you have beta corporate males now that are fighting for feminist rights to help get the women in there. Now you have beta corporate males and women fighting to get transgender in there.
Whoa. The beta cuck males fighting to get women in where? Like in where? You meant like
the civil rights movement was the key of the beta males, the weak males. And then you had the feminist right, which was the beta males helping the women with their feminist movement to bring them in. Now you have the beta males and the feminist movement with their gay rights movement. And now you have all them fighting together to get the transgenders in there. It's the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's been going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of diversity, inclusion, all that
I'd
shit.
rather
No,
walk alone.
I'm not.
I would rather walk alone. I'm telling you what.
I'm not a
folks,
fan of that garbage.
I am telling you what. I would rather.
Not a fan of that.
I would rather walk alone than with
Do
the
you think
crowd
that-
going in the wrong direction. And
El
as far
Perro.
as what we have today, this electoral college is a crowd going in the wrong direction. I
Agree.
agree
With
with
diversity and
Oracle.
inclusion is more interesting than equity or whatever the fuck. the
El
phrase
Perro,
was.
do you think that the trans and gays should have the same kind of rights as the Negroes got in the 60s?
When it comes to these rights, folks, understand when I talk about rights, I'm talking about responsibilities. So when I talk about responsibilities, the transgender, the gays, the feminists, and the civil rights movement, I think it's everybody's responsibility to be true. And if you can't be true and you want to nominalize yourself by a ad hominem as he, she, thee, she, her, or they, them, or I'm a feminist, or I'm a black American or an African. You've been delusioned and you're still in the delusion. I'm a child of
Yes.
God.
I'm
I
okay
am
with
a
it being
child
a-
of God.
I'm okay with it being a descriptor,
Which
but when you
God
add,
do you mean? Like
go ahead.
there's
The source of
supposedly
life.
100,000 gods
the source,
named
the
in this
source,
song.
the source of life that endeavors in a source of life to continue as long as possible in prosperity and replenishing. This is a cycle. The longer you can keep the cycle going, the better. This is obvious in everybody's heart. Everybody wants to live forever.
What? Everybody? Well, not everybody, but are you not the God of rapists and crackheads then? Not that God, the one that created those?
No, I'm talking about the creation of life. In that,
Oh.
we have all kinds of things and beings and creatures. In our system of creatures, the things we call humans, we have people that have this higher intellectual thought we call dominion, and they seem to think that they have rights in that. No, you have a responsibility. Because if you think
You
you're
do have
powerful,
rights too, rights and
well,
responsibilities.
well, the rights are actually responsibilities, because if you have a right to express yourself, you have to have the responsibility to be able to know when, where, how, why, and who to do that with. And not only that, but my freedom of expression, inherently a singular body, is more imperatively and more exponentially powerful in everybody else's right to know. So just me here alone as one in a panel of four, my right to express myself is 4 times more powerful in the panel itself as a whole, because you three have a right to know what I have to say.
Aren't rights just inventions? Aren't they just constructs, shit written on paper? Do they
No.
really exist?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's if you think you have a right to do something, you have the responsibility to be able to respond to your own assertion of rights. I have a right to cross a line drawn in the sand by Joe. Joe, put a line in the sand for me, sir. If he does it, I say I have a right to cross it, and he's accepted it by putting the line in the sand.
You lost me on a little saying in that part, but
okay, let's go back then.
Okay.
If I say to Joe, I have a right to cross a line in the sand.
Right. I drew that. What is an arbitrary line that I drew?
Would you please draw a line in the sand for me?
All right.
And you bend down and you draw a line in the sand. You just gave me the right to cross the line in the sand because I said so.
It was inherent. It was kind of an agreement.
Right. I now have the responsibility to prove it by crossing that line.
It's got to be an easier
So
metaphor.
what if he draws a tic-tac-toe board in the sand? Do you have a right or a responsibility to play tic-tac-toe against Joe in the sand?
Absolutely. What I think what you guys are missing is if you have a right.
No. He's out on that tic-tac-toe shit alone. Don't say you guys. He's just fucking with you with tic-tac-toe as far as I'm concerned.
No, I'm not.
Listen. The only way you can express a right is with another man. In order to do that, you have to communicate one way or another. I don't care.
I'm not sure that's true.
In order for me to assert my right over Joe, I have to communicate with Joe.
Well, you threw in another man through the gate. Let's say there is no other man around. Do I have the right to take fish out of the sea? I don't have to communicate shit to another man. I have to determine it myself. Am I doing wrong and all that shit?
Exactly. So do you not? So you don't have to express your right to another man. That's what I'm talking about. Is the expression of rights. Is either an expression of rights or a responsibility. You pick. To me, it's a responsibility. If you want to know what I'm doing and you want to communicate with me, I'm going to tell you about my responsibility. I'm not going to tell you about my right to fish. I'm going to tell you my responsibility in fishing.
Why not right? You don't like to talk about rights or something? Why you don't talk about responsibility and not right? They're that different to you?
Yes, because if I'm going to talk to you about my rights to take a fish, I may as well placate it that I've got a daily limit of 24 fish.
Not necessarily. That right.
Well, that's what a right is. It's an expression.
We might have to define right then here. Yeah. All right. Here's what I think a right is. A right is simply what is right. That's all a right is, and all the rest we've added. Like, for instance, is it right for me to do this? Is it right? Now, we call it a right, and we took it away. But really, at its core, I think it's just is it right? That's all it is. Like
So
say,
if I go down to the river and it's just me, and
Mhm.
all I need is food for a day, but
Yeah.
I catch 24 fish and I eat the one and I leave 23.
Exactly, good one.
Is that a right, or did I violate some kind of responsibility to nature?
I think in my definition of right, that is not right. So therefore, we're going to call it rights, or as you called it, a violation of nature. I think it's a violation of nature. It's a wrong, as
Right.
opposed
So
to a right.
and that's why I prefer to call them responsibilities. It keeps me on the right
I do too.
side of
Responsibilities
nature.
and duties. I talk about that as well. But since we were on rights, I immediately shifted to responsibilities. If I'm teaching someone their rights, I should teach them 4 times harder their responsibilities.
Yep. Okay, so let's finish this video, and then I got like 4 or 5 more, but they're all short. So yeah, he takes the guy into custody right away. He's going to arrest him. You can't go around doing this shit, folks. Again,
So
that
as soon as he said no ID, he reached out and grabbed his arm.
Yeah,
Is that what
looked
happened?
like it, yeah.
Right before then?
Yep.
I
And
thought
that's
like the guy yelled. I thought he grabbed his balls or something. I was like, what the hell did he just reach out and grab?
And you got to remember, folks, again, just like I expressed a few minutes ago, that ID, that's hearsay.
Do not touch me. I didn't do anything. For what? Under arrest for what? I just asked you for your identification. Okay, what law have I broken? Call me a supervisor. Go ahead, call. Dude, what are you doing? Why is your hand on your taser? I'm Dude, look, I haven't done anything wrong. Show me your ID. If you don't comply, then I will arrest you. For breaking what law? Videotaping people. That's illegal.
If you don't comply, then I will arrest you. No, you already attempted an arrest. That's a physical assault. Understand what this idiot just admitted to. He just admitted to. On video, he assaulted this man without arresting him. And now he's telling him, if you don't comply, I will arrest you. The language is specific, folks.
Wait.
Saying he has not effected an arrest yet the video shows he attempted an assault on him.
But no, he didn't attempt an assault. I saw him attempt an arrest.
No.
If you're under arrest,
understand, Joe. Understand, if he attempted his arrest and then stopped.
He stopped because dude pulled away. He's still trying to arrest the guy.
So now he's saying, if you don't comply, I will arrest you. He
Very
should
good.
be sticking.
He's changed it up a bit.
Right. He should be sticking with, you are under arrest. Stop.
Right.
You are under arrest. He didn't.
Yeah.
Shows his incompetence in not knowing how to stand on his square, and this is because he questions his own authority. I know these fools. I know these fools better than these fools know these fools.
I'm still trying to see if this idiot knows that he has no legal right. I mean, that's basic. You would assume that they all know it. But I've seen some. I was watching behind the scenes shit where some guy was so dumb. He arrested a guy like this. They chastised him. The sergeant talked to him. And then they got back and he talked to the internal affairs of somebody to make sure that he understood before they sent him back out there. He still did not understand that he didn't have the right to just ask due for ID when he broke no fucking law, to demand ID when the guy had broken no law. He didn't understand, even though he bullshitted. Yeah, I get it now, Sarge. Talk to me when it went presented. And again, he didn't understand what was going on. He was that dumb.
Yeah, and see, these guys know that ID leads to a record. I do too. And that's why I'm not going to give them that. If they want that, I have to let them know. I understand that the individual's name and number that you're looking for is going to identify a record. So while you're looking for the individual's name and birth date, you're looking for a birth certificate record. Sorry, that's not for your access.
They're trying to feed the beast too. They need that ID because the beast must live. I send the police out there to feed it. The primary way they do that is income. And that's, in fact, that's how I reward them. The more money they make for me, the more rewards they get. So it behooves them. The more IDs, run a certain amount of names. Some of them are going to pop. All of them create a record, which is good for the system. You're out there doing work, and we can document it. Get that ID, and you've earned some shit for the day. Even if it's trespassing the guy and making a record of it, even though I have no legal duty, responsibility to give you my name and all of that shit. It would feed the beast if they get me to give them my name or identification. They're feeding the beast. That's this is good shit.
Yeah, it's a direct tie to the Office of Justice program through U.S. Department of Justice, known as the Interstate Identification Index. FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin 54, Issue 1, dated 1985. Been out a long time.
Interstate Identification Index. Let me screenshot this shit.
Let's see here. We're going to. Oops.
One of my mans is my two of our auditor guys are fighting, and one of them's texting me about the other guy.
And I'm going to drop that link in the private chat for everybody on panel. And there's the link down in chat for everybody else. That is the Interstate Identification Index, and it is the tie to the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, where you were first invested through the state's Bureau of Vital Statistics. The identification, enumeration at birth. So let's go back and finish up this. This is short, and then get on.
That's
to the
not
next
illegal.
one.
It is illegal. Where? Show me the case law. Show me. Pull it up. I haven't done anything wrong. Whoa, I haven't done anything wrong. Am I free to go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
This man.
He didn't know. He stood firm till his boss came and told him otherwise. He did not know.
Yep, and that's why you saw at the very end there, am I free to go? And the guy turned to him and said yes. He had to resort to other officers.
You saw like 3 officers there at that point.
That's why I jumped on it, Joe. He was not affecting an arrest. He was assaulting him. If he was affecting an arrest, he would have known from the start. He'd have continued on with the arrest and stood his ground. He didn't. He faulted the very first word out of his fucking mouth.
Well, yeah, he definitely made a faux pas. He's just dumb, right? He's not using any critical thinking skills there. He's puppeting behavior that he's been taught. It's weird for people like me.
Now here's one, and this is why I get disheartened by our society today. Not just on the younger generation that's walking out of high school and not reading another book, but the older generations that have evidently proven that they've done the exact same thing, walked out of high school, or if they even graduated high school and never picked up another book because they're just fucking insanely stupid. Watch what happens here. This is an old lady.
Someone's service dog while
This is the people we have voting. Okay?
shopping at a Publix. She said she did it because it didn't have a vest.
Dog jumped on. Afterwards, I kicked him in the ass.
What's the story?
I asked the man why he had the dog in here. It's a service dog. Where's this document? Where's this proof? I don't have to show you. The law says I don't have to. I said, well, we'll go up to the desk then. I don't have to show them either. I said, because he's not a fucking service dog. And then the dog jumped on me, so I turned around and I kicked him in the ass.
Number one, you don't work
Bullshit.
here. It's not your right to be asking around. Hey, I don't need your debit card.
Why not? You're going to give me a ticket.
As a matter of fact, you are going to jail.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Give me.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Oh, wait. Can I put my wallet?
White privilege,
Turn around,
white
put
privilege.
your hands behind your back.
It's not white privilege.
Fucking with you, relax.
How old are you?
I'm 80.
I'm 80.
Don't play it like that, Negro.
I'm 80, and you call me a motherfucking misogynist. You call me a misogynist.
He's 80?
While this 80-year-old woman is out there acting like a fucking imbecile, like she's got authority over everybody else around. She has authority over them and evidently knows the law well enough that she can tell them, you got to do this, and she don't. That's how much authority this woman thinks she has.
That old Karen kicked the
I
dog.
I don't know if it's because of her age, but I think you're right. She
What
thinks
else
she
could it
has
be?
authority.
What else could it be?
She's an old boomer. She's an old boomer.
No, it's entitlement.
It's definitely entitlement.
It's inflated ego.
Well, due to what though? That's what.
That isn't your mom, is it, Base?
Where do you get that ego from?
That question is,
That's why I say it's gotta
that's a
be
rabbit
age.
hole.
That's
Where
why
is
I
it
say
from?
it's got to be the age.
Well,
It could
I
only be
disagree.
because- It could only be because somebody's been on this planet for 80 years.
Not really, though,
Wait,
right? The
listen,
governor's
hear
daughter.
me out.
The governor's
Hear me out.
daughter would
Hear
have
me out.
privilege.
Hear him
Hear
out.
me
Hear him
out.
All right.
If this woman has been acting like this all of her life, it could only be from an entitlement through repetition over the years that everybody else has stood down, and she has not learned yet to this day in 80 years. You don't have such authority.
No. You're just moving the goalposts a little bit. You said the only reason could be 80 years because
Yeah.
she's okay.
80 years of doing the same thing over and over. And nobody
What if?
said a fucking word to her.
So, what if you would agree that the young governor's daughter at 23, who's no one ever told her no, could kick the dog and think you got ID to her too? Yeah, it's not age in this case. It's
Right.
the privilege
that-
that she's experienced.
In the 23-year-old case, it would be because of the privilege she experienced. I'm saying in this case, I don't see where she's getting any kind of privilege, even if you want to call it white privilege. I don't see that either. But what
you said it, bro.
Joe thinks
But
everything's
what I
white
do see-
privilege.
I didn't say it this
Yeah,
time.
you
Joe.
said it earlier.
But what I do see is that we have an 80-year-old woman that should have been put in her place long fucking time ago.
I agree with El Pero
we could
here.
agree
I
on
think he
that,
nailed
yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
think he nailed it.
You think it was because of her age, Steve?
Because she got away with it till age 80. Nobody put her in her place, just like El Pero said. She's never been put in her place before she turned 80.
That applies
You
to the
misogynist,
23-year-old.
you misogynist.
That
A lot
applies
of
to the 20.
assumptions are being made, though.
Yes,
I mean,
that
we don't know
applies-
her history. She could have gotten better. She could have gotten worse. Who knows where this is on the timeline? I mean, we watched a 1-minute excerpt of somebody. I mean,
that's why I'm saying that's the only thing I got to go on is her age. I didn't see.
I would disagree, man. All right, I'm looking at her.
You always disagree. You're
I'm doing
contrarian, Joe.
it's
Come
healthy
on.
though, right? That's what's healthy. And I'm not. I'm not disagreeing just for the sake of disagreement. This time, it seems logical to me that there are other reasons why a person of that age, and it can't all be fucking white privilege. Every old motherfucker.
No such thing as white privilege.
No.
Doesn't
I
exist.
said it can't all be. All right.
And I said it doesn't exist. You said
White
it can't
privilege
all.
doesn't exist?
I'm saying it does not exist at all. White
That's
privilege.
like saying
What
race.
about black privilege? Black privilege exists.
Yeah.
How come white privilege wouldn't
Black
exist?
privilege exists because you get affirmative action, you get
So
special
black
treatment,
privilege does
you get
exist.
snowflake treatment.
Pretty
You get-
people
hold on.
privilege exists.
Race doesn't even exist. How could any privilege exist per race?
Because we've been
there is no
tricked.
race.
We've been tricked so hard.
If you want to talk about black race doesn't exist. It's black culture in America. And meanwhile, there's people who aren't even African that get put in that box, and ones who are that don't. So clearly, it's not a race thing.
That's the base. You just made me think. I should be better descriptors and use better words because everything you said is right. And I say it might be better to say culture than race.
Culture. I mean, sure, culture.
He's delusional. He calls himself black, 4%.
I'm
You're not
4.4%.
You're not black.
See, the cultural difference.
You're wrong.
The cultural difference is the imperative thing we need to recognize, and that's the distinction with all the racism.
When
and
we
white
say
privilege.
black, we
That's
enabled
the-
up racist and ignorant fucks when I say that.
Yeah,
Well,
I think even talking about race perpetuates race division.
No, it doesn't.
Right? I don't need to say that this guy who came by my house earlier was black. I can say
Talking
this
about
guy
the-
came by my house.
It's
So
a
I'm
great
saying-
descriptor, though. It shouldn't be a sin.
not
If he's
racism.
tall, I shouldn't feel wrong saying he's tall.
No. I hear you, but here's the thing: equality doesn't exist. So certain
it
people
doesn't.
feel certain ways about certain things, and it's based on their anecdote. You know
That's
how they
when you
see
have
the
to be
world.
careful,
And
yes.
because we're so
Sky being blue
divisive,
perpetuates-
You have a
naming-
strong argument.
naming
yes.
race before height, it would actually make more sense to be like, yeah,
No.
this 6'8" dude. I
Yes.
don't even know. Whatever.
Yes.
That's
No,
so
no,
cool,
you're
by
right.
the way.
Better
He's 6'8".
argument.
You
Yes,
guys are
rather
afraid
talk
of
about
race.
how tall I am as opposed to he was a black dude. Yeah.
Talking about the sky
Yeah.
being blue doesn't mean you hate the sky. Talking about somebody being black rather than
Yeah, but is there sky
Chinese
division?
isn't racist. Racist
It's just sky
hatred.
division, though.
So there you go.
Is that a cultural issue, the color of the sky?
Race isn't cultural, dude. Culture and race are two different things.
Well, I'm saying race doesn't even exist, but
Yeah, it does
nonetheless,
exist. It does exist.
it
You
has
say it
become a
does?
divisive factor within
it's not
society.
there's a
Well, it
Negroid
exists as far
race.
as DNA goes, but it doesn't actually.
It absolutely exists.
It doesn't
Well, even
predetermine your
Hold on,
exact
hold on.
skin
Beyond
tone.
just DNA.
Hold on, guys. Let's recognize that it only exists as we know it as a taxonomy, a classification, nothing else.
That's just
In other
Stephen.
words,
He's the only one that
biological
seems to think it
differences between
exists
races.
for real.
Why
Stephen, how
don't
do
you
you think it
study it?
exists?
Biology is real. There's hundreds of biological differences.
Yeah, but if you're going with
between
DNA
races.
for race, that's not a
It's
great
not
argument.
just DNA. You're
Okay,
boiling
go
it
ahead.
down just to DNA. I said
Excuse me?
biological differences.
Go ahead. Give
Hundreds.
me.
From the
Isn't
skull
DNA
size,
biological?
the skull shape, the
That was a
bone
good one, right?
density, the
DNA.
muscles. There's a whole bunch of differences.
But
Yeah.
that's also nonsense
No,
arguments,
look
right?
into
That
it.
wouldn't
So you're
determine race.
talking.
Yeah?
So
Denying
you're
it
talking
without
more.
looking into
So you're talking more species difference rather than racial difference, and that's what I'm talking
racial
about.
No,
difference.
he's
I'm
not
talking
talking about.
racial difference.
No, he's not.
Yes, taxonomy in relations to the race is a legal taxonomy. Species in relations to the race or human species is a scientific taxonomy. You have to distinguish
We're
the
not
different
one
taxonomies
species. We're
so
not
you
one
can
species.
I understand that, but get to the
Clearly,
comprehension.
we're
We're
one
talking about
species.
species, race, and culture. They're all three different things.
All right,
Culture
species
doesn't
is
rely on biology. Culture and biology are very different. So race
yes, we know.
is attached to biology. And I'm
Okay.
speaking about hundreds of biological differences. Every
All
time I
right.
say that, you guys say DNA.
No,
Well,
but you
DNA is
guys,
just
stop
one
with that.
thing.
ain't being attack shit. You guys, just talk
You're the one that
one
brought up
motherfucker at a
DNA.
time. Everybody's talking about different shit, and you think everybody up here shares an opinion, and we do not. Can you be? I bet you cannot. In fact,
Every
give
time I
me
say
any of
race,
these.
all three
Excuse
of
me.
you
Excuse
under
me. I
culture.
wasn't done.
Go
Eric.
ahead.
Thank you. Can you give me any of these factors that you say would determine race? I bet you I could give you other ways that they would come
Absolutely.
about.
You can measure skull size and shape, and they can tell, an anthropologist can tell the race of someone, of a body that's been dead for 100 years or even 1,000 years, and tell
Yes.
this is Negroid and this is Caucasian.
Yes,
There are
but
differences.
that
There are
doesn't mean with
differences.
differences.
What-
Wait,
What we're
hold on.
talking about.
Come on.
What we're talking about.
Bone
Let
skull.
me real quick here.
Go
I
ahead.
agree with you, King, Stephen, in the biological, and that's the environmental differences that show that they're the same
That's
thing.
why I
It's
was
a
going to
mouse.
go Perro.
It's a mouse in Australia, just like it's a mouse here. But there are biological differences. They still remain mice.
You do understand the mouse in South Africa somewhere. That skeleton, if you find a skeleton of that human, we'll call it, he's taller because it's hotter there, and his
No,
body
I
had to
don't go
grow
about
tall to
that's the
dissipate heat.
that's the
And then the
bullshit
mouse,
mainstream.
hold on, then the skeleton that you
wait.
find, hold on, in a
Okay,
cold
okay,
climate
okay.
will be
Yeah.
shorter and more meatier because he had to hold his heat. These things respond to the elements, to the
Dude, you're
environment.
speaking third grade bullshit. You're speaking third grade mainstream
Stephen
nonsense.
is a long troll. He's always in for the longer troll.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Just
Right? Yeah.
third
not at
grade
all.
I'm gonna
bullshit.
I'm
That's
gonna
all it
give
is.
I'm gonna
That's
give
what they
him.
tell third graders. That's what they tell third graders. It's hotter there. It's colder there. You became white. Like, it's laughable, dude. I'll be right
Well,
back.
that's
That is laughable. That's
Yeah, I
third
see.
grader
I
shit.
see
Well,
my white
That's third
friends
grader
go out
shit.
and
It
get
really
darker
is.
in one day. So I don't think it's so laughable.
And I
Or
don't see how you can,
survival.
yeah, and I don't
reasons.
see how you can argue it as that, because that's the very thing you're talking about is the biological differences, which come from the environmental differences that changes your biology because of the alchemy, because of the heat, because of the sun, because of the food, because of the dryness, because of the salt in the water or the
Of
freshness
course.
of the water.
Of course.
They all take a point in your characteristics and your cultural growth in biology.
Right,
over
but
time.
yeah. So we're
Right,
all
and you know,
Go ahead.
to this point, right, learned behavior, from what I can tell, from what I've seen, shows to be a stronger determinant of oneself than biological
Biologically.
factors, right? So your environment, right, parenting, etc., has a huge impact versus, you know, what your biology says.
It's
Well,
certainly quicker based, right? The biological shit happens over generations even, and the shit you're talking about, learned behavior, could happen in fucking,
Right,
in
sure.
one.
Yeah, that's why we have cultural appropriation shit. You know, it's
because they know they can do that shit. Yeah.
And you know, with that said, you know, cultures homogenous to wherever they're from that have adapted over time biologically. You know, obviously we have differences. You know, it's been compared to IQ, height, anything that you can think of. But the point that I look at is we're all the same but different. There's no superior race or shade of skin color, right? We have differences. It's commonly known in black culture, better at basketball, better at many sports, right?
I think
That's
that's
how it is.
logical because you know who would suck at sports? The Saudis. If they don't, they will soon. They do no manual labor. It is beneath them. Their children will wither and atrophy, man. They will never be in the Olympics in the next 100 years if they don't change that shit. And that would be from blacks, whether we came from American Indian black or African black, whatever the fuck it was. You was running fucking 2 miles to get water in the fucking morning.
Running with the cheetahs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of my ancestors. 4 out of 100. Hey, look, I gotta head off. Good talking to y'all. Except for Steven probably, but he's a douche. All right, we'll see you.
Appreciate you stopping, brother. God bless. All right, let's get on to the next one then, guys, because the next one is going to show the profound idiocy. Joe, you're going to love this one. This is a loitering one. Now watch what this dumb ass officer says. Get her pulled up here. We are here.
Wash his car, and these cops showed up and blatantly violated his constitutional right, claiming he was loitering despite having just arrived at the station.
Loitering after just arriving at the car wash station, and he sat there and finished smoking a cigarette. Said it took him about 3 minutes. So guess what happened?
Registration issues on you?
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
I just say because you're loitering at this point, you're not using this business.
I've been sitting here for 3 minutes before I wash my car.
Can I have your ID, please?
For what crime?
I just said you were loitering.
I was fixing to wash my car.
He gave it to him.
You don't identify yourself. That's resisting an officer.
It's not failure to ID if there's no crime being committed.
We've been sitting over there for over 4 minutes.
He's going to get this guy for loitering for 3 minutes at a car wash smoking a cigarette. And they've been sitting over there watching for 4 minutes. Who's loitering?
Well, this guy isn't loitering. The first thing I would,
the police were loitering.
Right.
They were loitering.
Okay, I got you. I missed that part. Yes. This guy, like, man, motherfucker, I'm Googling before I wash my car. You better get the fuck out of my face. I'm checking whatever. I want to see my text. Nigga, it ain't your fucking business. I lose my mind on these guys.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. This guy, they're going to cite him for loitering, supposedly. And they admit they're loitering.
Right. We've been loitering to catch
I'm back.
loiterers.
I just want to finish my thought. The out of Africa theory is bullshit. It's bogus. We don't have a common ancestor. That whole stuff is third grade.
Wait, no one mentioned necessarily out of Africa per se, right?
And I said,
we're just talking about the environment
but
changing.
that ties in with it. The evolution out of Africa is bogus. If you look into it, it's been debunked. And just because I have a different view doesn't mean I'm trolling like Based Oracle was trying to. He was trying to say that I'm a troll. I'm not a troll. I have different views than he does, and I've done different research.
You're a troll. I'm a troll.
I'm not a troll.
You're a troll.
Steve's
not a troll at all.
Steve, understand these people on these panel verses will do that kind of shit to trigger you, and that's all it is. They're just.
Well, I'm not triggered. I'm a voodoo doll. So I've already cursed Based Oracle. So he looks like this voodoo doll here. He's a gingy voodoo doll. So he's already been cursed.
It worked already.
It worked already. It's already.
And I'm with you on that as well with the out of Africa thing. Yeah, I agree that we've all been taught wrong history, and we need to redo all of our own research and really think about this before we go make this new history.
I'm not a Negroid. I'm not
history,
from Africa.
History is a narcissist point of view of a victor over all of its victims.
It will always be that, right?
We have to look into this stuff and say, hey, they taught us this in second, third, fourth grade. It's not correct.
Out of Africa, Stephen, doesn't mean that we're not one species.
We're not
Right.
one species. I'm not a Negroid, Joe Cool. I'm
Well, I
I'm
think if you, I'm sorry, I keep
I'm
interrupting
from
you. I'm sorry.
I'm from Viking stock, dude. We're not the same. That's okay. We're
I
different.
think the way to, if you Google species, it will say, generally speaking, you can determine species if they can mate and produce fertile offspring. Generally speaking, that'll tell you if you were the
A
same
lion and a
species.
tiger can reproduce. They're not the
Do they
same though.
reproduce
Tigers,
fertile offspring? They do
ligers,
not.
yes they do. Yes they do.
No, they
Ligers
do
cannot
not. No,
have
they do not.
kids. They're
No,
not
they do
fertile.
not. No, they do not.
But they can reproduce. A tiger and a lion can reproduce. Can the offspring reproduce?
No.
I don't think so. Maybe they
Because they're
can.
not the same species.
No, they're
Therefore,
not. But
my definition holds so far.
Yep.
I would disagree.
All right. Well, let's drop this one and let's get on to
Yeah.
the rest of this video here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't want to prove ourselves insane, right?
I'm fine.
I
I
do.
love this shit.
I
man.
do,
I
but-
do.
Greetings, Tarek. How you doing, brother?
Hello,
What's up,
Terry.
Wizard? What's up,
Hello.
Steven and Joe?
Hello.
You're not
Hello?
using this business at all. Where are you quarters at?
They're right here. They're all right here.
I was over there sitting
For
there.
3 minutes, 4 minutes. You even said on camera that it was 4 minutes. I have proof that I'm using this
Okay,
business.
You don't have proof.
You don't have proof that I'm not using this business.
Okay, can
There
give
you
me your
go.
ID, please?
You really want to go this
Fuck
way?
no.
See, and
I'm
that's where
sorry.
they get down to proof of what they're doing.
They want
He
ID.
just, yeah, they want ID whether what he's doing or not, no matter what.
Now
he's doing.
these people clearly know that they have no legal footing. They clearly know,
Correct.
in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's again why I said, they admit themselves to their own wrongdoing in almost every case if you watch. Like I showed with the guy saying he was affecting assault, or an arrest. And I said, no, that was an assault. Because if it was an arrest, he'd have continued on, stop, you're under arrest. He didn't.
Yes.
You got to punish these guys. Every
He
time they
exposed
do that, you
himself.
got to punish them to the point where you would put them in jail if they continue it.
The
If they
last
threaten arrest wrong enough times, understand you are harming a motherfucker every time you threaten them. We're not going to let nobody threaten you. We're not going to let you threaten nobody either. Get it together. Go take your ass to jail.
And I thank you, Extraordinary. Extraordinary says your different views are right on point, friend. And I think a lot of people need to really open up and start listening to what's going on around them. Because if you think they're not going to come after you one day, you are wrong.
Right.
They will always look for more victims.
Yes.
And Wizard, just to add to that, you know my situation like last year when they raided my house.
Yep.
After 6 months, I thought that was gone. I already know I checked myself out of the system. I don't have nothing, no contact with these fucking people. Just last week, they're still bothering my family, calling my family.
Well, yeah, and don't you get it, Jarek? Why do you think I act the way I do? You think I go around acting like this because I just want to?
No, I know.
They are a continuous threat. And when you laid down after you thought it was all done and over, guess what? They came back at you. I ain't laying down no more. You better know I'm a motherfucker that stands.
Oh, I'm standing. No, I never laid down. I'm saying
We're judging this whole entire stop.
Yeah, that's my point, though. You cannot relax in this, Derek. You have
You're
to
right.
stand firm in every point against all oppressors, all aggressors, all that don't agree with you. You either bring forth your fault in my stance, or your proof of my fault in my stance, so that I can move on and become better, or you say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Over 3 and 4 minutes. Listen to this, people.
It's on camera.
That gives me a right to sit here for 3 minutes until I finish my cigarette. Y'all just lost y'all's qualified immunity. Yep. This is what you
He
call
gave it to him.
Fourth Amendment violation. I will have your badge, Craven. Get out of here.
Yes,
I bet you he gave it to him.
Oh
He
yeah,
cut-
I'm sure he went down and got all their information too.
No, yeah. He probably followed up, or he's a shitty auditor. But I bet he can't be an auditor. If he gave ID, I don't know. I got friends who give ID all the time. It's weird to me.
I don't.
Yeah, that's weak.
Yeah.
I don't. I ain't given any ID for almost 10 years now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hey,
I don't
Joe-
even carry my ID.
Joe,
when I'm out.
exactly. Joe, I don't have no ID, nothing. They can't get me for anything, nothing. But here's the thing, Joe. I made not a soft, I would call a soft audit because I moved from Dearborn to a different area, right?
Yeah.
And now because I made a soft audit on the Detroit police, they've been behind me almost every, 3 days, just to let me know they're behind me.
I'm with Wizard on that. I act a fool. Right when they arrest me, I show up the day I get out of jail and film and pull over the police on film them on cop watches and shit. If they following me, I'm gonna pull over, follow them. I'm gonna they're gonna have to go up a one way or something to get me to stop following them. They want to. I'm gonna up it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That last time I was in that court case over that possession charge, and they took my truck. And they tried telling me I wouldn't get that truck back until I got proper plates and registration and everything.
Yeah.
There was a private purchase, so there was no title transfer, so it was still under the ownership of the previous owner. I just went to him and said, "Hey man, they've got your truck down at the impound. Would you go get it and give it back to me?"
All right.
Sure.
That's dope.
So I put the private property placards back on the truck and traveled my happy ass right back up to the courthouse for my trial.
Yeah.
Parked it right there in their parking lot.
The video I just put out, we did the same shit. They pulled my buddy over for the private plates, and after we got out of court, we went to them towns and filmed and cop watched in that same truck.
Now, who did you get your plates from? Freedom from Government?
No, he had some that just said private on the plate. I don't know. If it wasn't me, it's a buddy of mine named Chris. I don't know where he got it from.
Yeah, they can make them.
Yeah, you'll have to ask him because I got a friend that makes them, and she owns that. It used to be Trent James Goodbody. He had freedomfromgovernment.org, and he used to put out those plates and stuff.
That's
and
heavy,
along with all the kind of different information that you need for it and everything. And now Malika from Lawful Living owns it, and we're doing classes over there, and we've got all kinds of successes. We've even had a couple successes on Zoom class. I'll tell you about one of them. Gal was pulled over, and they arrested her because they had pulled her over the previous week for private property plates on her car.
Yeah.
They turned around, and she was traveling around again without them because they took them, and enforcing her right with impunity, as it says. And they arrested her again on the roadside while she was on Zoom with us. She called into Zoom with us when they arrested her, when they pulled her over. And 30 minutes later, when she got to the jailhouse, they had documentation ready to release her.
You sitting me?
The officer. We had 30-some people call down there and give them all kinds of information, what they were doing wrong and everything. And they not only let her have her car back, but the following Monday, they called her up and told her to come down and get her private property plates.
Incredible. Was it that black chick that I talked to in your room one day? She seemed like she could have pulled some shit like that. You said it was her?
Most likely.
Hey, Wizard. The opposite thing happened to me. I don't know if I told you. When they raided my house about, I don't know, a year ago, they took the car, got nothing, and they held the car, and after I bounced myself out of the system, they try to, call my sister and family, and after I told them to stop harassing me, they said that they'll give me the car back, but I have to waive my rights. I said, I won't sign a single document ever. Have the fucking car.
Yeah, see, and I went over all of this here not too long ago as regards to owner removal from program, and that's 28 US or 28 CFR 29.10. And that's the motor vehicle theft prevention program. That's why you register the motor vehicle, and that's why you get that little decal. You can just remove that decal.
Wait. What program? Why do you register?
The motor vehicle theft prevention program. And you do this, and they say you're required to register it because the motor vehicle operator's lease, where you're supposed to write a handwritten statement of intent, and nobody ever does. So that certification is false. And in that certification, that handwritten statement of intent, you're supposed to make a handwritten statement of intent stating that you intend to use the motor vehicle so pledged to the state as the surety property, the secured property, stating the state owns it and you're taking upon tax ownership and insurance ownership, as well as you intend to use it at least 50% or more of its use for your trade or business.
Yes.
Now trade or business is further defined in the very tax code that you find that same motor vehicle operator's lease as the performance of the functions of public office.
Public. Yep.
Now
Right,
under
so
the under the state's motor vehicle registration guidelines, each state will have a guideline in there that says on state business. So what you've done is you've pledged a private motor vehicle for the performance of the functions of public office on state business for at least 50% of its use.
What'd you call it? Motor Vehicle Registration Act or something? What'd you call it?
Motor Vehicle Theft Prevention Act.
All right.
And Wizard, just to let you go ahead.
28 CFR 29.10.
Wizard, let me clarify something. I know sometimes I give you shit on some certain subjects, but I want to let you know that I appreciate all the knowledge you do, because I have the same thing what you just said. Not only I watch your videos, I'm writing all the stuff down till I can understand it. It's all like I have like maybe 4 books, like like 30 pages. No, I do. All says, I have Wizards, I have Paul, the stuff I learn every day from everybody or Steven or anybody.
Very good.
This way I can learn. So yeah, I do watch what you say, and it's true. He does talk about the
motherfucker to, I guess, to learn from Paul. You're a patient motherfucker, man. I love his knowledge, man, but that I'm better than you shit. Just
I get it, Joe. I'm not saying no, I get it.
I prefer to get it from other sources, man. And Paul has great shit, but you gotta fucking endure some shit.
You don't like?
No,
Paul
I like Paul. I love Paul, and I root for Paul. I need the best from him and all that shit. I think he's just like everybody else, and everybody had their quirks and shit. And one of his is that that the way he delivers his message, it is that you need me. Shut the fuck up and listen. I'm just not cut that way.
So Tarek, when they came for your car, did Jack Talcott, was he there and did he rape you?
Come on. All right, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jack out of it.
So let's get back on let's get back on point then. Because that's why I tell people, don't believe me. Don't believe the neighbor, don't believe your government, and for crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research so you know. That's the only way you're going to overcome this stuff. You keep believing everything that everybody tells you. That's all you've got as a foundation. It's going to wash away like sand on a beach. So let's look at this last one. And not only do they not know what they're doing, but they try to fake shit too.
Do you notice the name though? Heather Holman. Like she's got a. I mean that's
and Kevin Ogle and Kevin's gonna ogle that hole, man.
She's got some big old titties, that hole, man.
Former deputy finds himself on the wrong side of the law. He's now facing criminal charges.
It all stems from a reported chase and shooting nearly 3 years ago. McIntyre Law Chopper 4 was over the scene back in 2021 in Potawatomi County. But now, in new court papers, investigators say the deputy made it all up. News 4's Caitlin Ogle has the update.
This is the rural county road where the deputy claimed everything unfolded. But detectives say as they continue their investigation, nothing was adding up.
Everybody's going to make mistakes.
Show your hands!
When you cross the line,
Potawatomi County Sheriff Mike Booth talking about his former deputy, Taylor Smith. Body cam video from September 2021.
What do you think about this? You see what's going on here? He's on a chase. He just picked up his phone, got both hands on his phone, and he's steering with his knee.
Shows him driving over 100 miles per hour during an alleged pursuit on his phone, driving with his knee.
Small sedan.
According to court documents, during the chase, Smith said he saw, quote, a black male passenger armed with a long gun hop out of the car and run.
I'll be foot pursuit. He has a rifle, large backpack,
red shirt, black male.
Minutes later, backup arrives, taking Smith back to his car, and he drives over to this gate.
He said the guy hopped over a fence into this big field. As he approached the fence, this guy started shooting at him, so he returned fire.
Those alleged gunshots were never heard, but investigators heard this.
Shot fired! Shot fired! Get down! Show me your ass!
Out there firing his weapon onto somebody's private property with not a motherfucking cause.
It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, man. These people are just so scared when they get in these situations. It's like they have zero experience when it comes down to these things, which is sad.
Yes,
Yeah.
you put the wrong people in that position because they had no experience.
Very much so. And these people do not belong in these outfits. We have to understand, like we were talking about earlier, the voting system. These people don't work for you. They work for themselves. They work for a paycheck. They've got a family they've got to protect and raise, and that's all they're concerned about. And my guess is this guy was a little low on the quota, so he's trying to fill in and maybe pursue something that might have resulted in something that helped him.
I'm sniffing something heavier so far, man. I know they're damn at the, well, I don't know. I think they're damn at the end, but something's going on that I'm missing still.
Well, it's all fake. Remember that.
McIntyre Law Chapter 4 overhead as authorities combed the area for hours, but court papers saying, quote, there were no obvious signs or tracks to follow.
That's when I said, everybody stop. Everybody come out, called OSBI, had them come in.
And just in case you haven't caught it yet, Joe, what about the vehicle?
Which vehicle? They said the guy was on foot. What vehicle?
Well, yeah, the vehicle he got out of and ran on foot. Remember, it was a 100-mile chase first.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's what smoking to do to
Where's the vehicle?
Yeah.
It's at Jack Talca's house.
Everything roped off. Nobody go from there. I was highly skeptical about what I'd heard.
What investigators did find were Smith's shell casings. Sheriff Booth says surveillance video they obtained also showing Smith's patrol unit, but no sedan. Other deputies telling investigators they
found his patrol unit, but no sedan. You would think he'd have pulled up by the sedan somewhere, right?
Yep.
So why do all this shit? Why just do it out the blue, right?
Don't know. That's what I'm pointing out. These people are psychotic.
Something there.
They live to make shit up.
I guess it's possible that he's just trying to be that man today. It's possible, I guess.
Yeah, Joe, a hero complex. They all want to be a hero. If they don't come to that point of being a hero, they try to make it up. So even if in a roadside stop they have the opportunity to be a hero, they will seek it out.
Yes, I dig
it. And Joe, you say why they do it? I'll give you an example. One of my good friends from high school, became a Detroit police officer. After 10 years, he got, climbed up, and now he's the chief of the police, right? You would see a major difference in how fucking ego, the power, the fucking ignorance, total different person.
Really?
I don't know. The badge, I don't know, whatever.
Wow, interesting. My battery's let me see. My battery's low. Yeah, I'm at 12%. I'm gonna get off of here after this video.
I'm at 10%, bro.
Yeah, we're done. We're done after this one anyway. So,
all right.
Quote, observed no dust trails or the suspected vehicle.
Did anybody come across the vehicle yet?
Of course, as a human being, you wonder why this or why that, but you still just follow the facts.
In Potawatomi County, Caitlin Ogle, Oklahoma's.
And so the only facts they have are his shell casings.
How old is that?
That was 8 days ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
I was gonna say maybe there's new developments, but 8 days is still pretty fresh.
Yeah. So the reality here is that we're looking at people that are using authority as if though they have authority to make shit up in their imagination. Is that really what you think is the authority? Do you really think the police are your Keith, the police are your authority? Who is your authority? Where do you get your power from?
In the end, if you're rapping with me, it better be from good, which I call God. You may call it something else.
Truth and good knowledge, concise logic. Yeah, and that's what we've got to understand. That concise logic is this leads to this, to this, to this. There's a pattern or there's a recognition of things that go together. When there's a dissolution in that, something's wrong and we need to go back, not keep moving. The chain is only strong as its weakest link. If you've got a weak link, you've got to fix it.
Yeah.
Well, that goes with society, man. I got a lot of buddies lately, it seems, that really don't like those fucking either the immigrants or the Palestinians, man. I'm always running into friends who absolutely hate those guys, think they're the enemy.
A lot of black people are racist.
Well, if they do consider them the weakest link, I think that we should be trying to fix that link. Not break it.
Why do so many blacks hate immigrants? Why are they?
I can't speak for so many blacks. If you had a question for me, you could ask them right here.
You and your buddies.
Me and my buddies? You don't even know my buddies, but go ahead. What about them?
Well, they're racist, aren't they? They're against.
You don't even know them. How can you? Oh, you asked me are my buddies racist? My friends.
On what you just said.
Some of my friends are racist, some are not.
You said a lot of black people are against these Palestinians that you know, your buddies.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I said a lot of black people. Oh, you assume because my buddies are black. You dumb fuck.
You just finally caught on.
I finally caught it.
Hey, that was one of the best trolls on Joe I've seen.
It took me forever to write.
Thank you.
Yeah, Steven's really good at being in character.
That's all good though. Hey, what do you guys
got?
What do you guys got to say on the way out?
You hate white people, don't you? You're anti-white.
This is great. I really fucking enjoyed it, man.
Awesome. Thanks for coming up. Stop by more often, Joe. We'd love to have you. I do these. I'm going to try to make sure I do these every Saturday or Sunday afternoon from now on.
Beautiful. This is a good time for live streams Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yep. While everybody else is just getting back from the insanity of the churches, they get to come home and watch me in the insanity of the public authority they fall to outside of that church.
Why didn't the snake Moose come up here today? I see him in the chat.
Moose is live. The snake Moose is live.
He's live right now?
I believe so, because my phone said earlier it was live at 5 or something. Yeah.
I wonder if I'm welcome over there. I don't know. I got kicked off there by.
We'll go there. I'm gonna go there and check. We can go there.
His Jewish deli buddy kicked me off. What's that? Denizen is his name.
Oh, Denizen.
He was running the show last time I was there. I got kicked off. Yeah. I think I was talking about Lindsay's lack of an ass or something.
Oh my god.
Something like that.
All right. Well, what do you got on the way out, guys? I got to get rolling.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
And thank you for having this discussion. And Steven, I'll see you at maybe at what's his name? The Rat.
I might go over to the Rat Moose channel.
All right. Peace.
All right. See you later. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. All right. Well, you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you and have a good night. We'll see everybody next time. I'll be back at 9 o'clock, and we'll be talking about the customs office, doing some work there to redress the address. Later.